Alright guys, so today we have the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn. It's a mousepad that recently replaced my Artisan mousepad, which I was using for quite a while, and it is a fantastic purchase, and I kind of wanted to share my thoughts on it with you guys if you guys were kind of on the fence about getting it. Hopefully this video helps you guys out. If you guys are looking to upgrade your current mousepad or anything like that. So let's go ahead and hop into the video. Alright, so the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn is like Lethal Gaming Gear's version of like a medium control pad, somewhere along the lines of like the Artisan Zero or the Zowie GSR or the Steel C or the Steel Series QCK or along those lines. Definitely a lot of friction, so that you can kind of take a like stop on a dime and click ahead or do whatever you need to do. But that doesn't mean that this pad is like super muddy or slow. Like this is actually quite a quick pad. This pad I would say is very safe for almost every single FPS game that you could probably play, or like just every game in general, because it's fast enough to the point where it's not like it doesn't feel slow, but it's also not so fast to where it's like uncontrollable, like a Cordura pad could be, or like a glass pad could be. So this pad is actually like quite like in the medium range. So like a control medium style is a good way to call it, and that's exactly what Lethal Gaming Gear was trying to do with that, was make a decent control pad, somewhere along the lines of the Artisan Zero. I would say that they don't have that much in common for me. I wouldn't have put two and two together with that. I would say the Lethal Gaming Gear has uh, its own way of handling the control. And I actually feel like I have more control on this because the Artisan Zero is actually quite a bit faster. They're both safe pads for most games, but the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn is definitely on the faster side. So moving into like size, so this is the XL version, which is the one I have now. You can also get it in the double XL, which is more along the lines of like a desk pad. So it's like 1,000 by 500 centimeters for the double XL, but the XL is 490 by 410. In comparison to like Artisan pads, you're probably missing like 10 to 20 centimeters there, but it's not that big of a difference, to be honest. If you're using more than the allotted space on this mouse pad, you might be playing on like a far too low sensitivity, to be honest with you, because this mouse pad is quite ginormous. It does come in at 4 millimeters of thickness, which is pretty nice. I would say it's somewhere in between the medium or like the soft to like mid for Artisans. It's quite soft, or like it's kind of spongy, but not as like spongy as like an extra soft Artisan pad, because those are insanely soft. But the material on this is like can be a little abrasive as well. They even say it on the box that it is a little bit more of a abrasive material, which I would agree on. It's a little bit rougher of a pad than like say my Hayate otsu that I had, which was very smooth on my skin. I do have sensitive skin, and because I used to have like eczema growing up, so even playing on this pad, like my forearm doesn't rash up or anything like that. So but just to keep that in mind, some people might get irritated by it because it is a little bit, I would say, of a rougher texture, of like a rougher pad essentially. So this one I have in the black, and the stitching is phenomenal on it. It's very low. You don't even notice the stitching. Like my mouse will, like literally at the edge of it, I will go over the mouse pad because the stitching is so low, and the stitching is really good on here too. It's definitely not Artisan level stitching, but nonetheless it is great stitching. I've had no issues with it other than me like just general wear and tear usage, but so far it's been holding up really well. It's been collecting a little bit of lint, but like nothing too serious. You do have this cool logo on the side right here of the mouse pad, which is pretty nice. So this is like the little Saturn logo that comes on it, and yeah, the rubber base is natural rubber, and so it's definitely not like in comparison to Artisan, because this is one of the most comparable pads to Artisan pads, like the Lethal Gaming Gear stuff. It's definitely no Artisan like rubber, but it's pretty good nonetheless. It stays in place a little bit more than my hayate otsu, because that would kind of like slide on my desk a little bit, but this has stayed in place. Never have I had an issue with it moving. So that's really, really big. So the mousepad does come in this cool box here. So it's very well designed. It looks super, super cute. It's like more along the lines of like the like space, I guess, and it even says like medium control here. And then it gives you a bunch of the details and other things like that on here. But nonetheless, great packaging. It came rolled up, and mine was able to lay flat instantly, because I know Artisan pads will go ahead and ship flat. I know the new Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn Pro and like the Venus Pro, the Pro line that they just released, which is also I'm sure a banger, and more along the lines of like Artisan competitors. Um, but mine stayed flat right out of the box. I had no issues with it, and it's been great ever since. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and touch on the final thoughts for the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn. Do I think this is an amazing mousepad? I do, and especially for the price point of $30, like there's not much you can really complain about here. It's like you're getting almost artisan level quality for $30 in a mousepad, and it's amazing. I feel comfortable playing any game with this mousepad. Like I play League. Once in a while, I'll play like Valorant, CS:GO, Fortnite, Call of Duty, anything. This mousepad, I feel comfortable with. You know, I'm able to do everything I need to do in every single video game, and that's why if I had one mousepad to recommend to anybody, it would be the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn. Firstly, for the price, right? Like the price is $30. You're getting almost artisan level quality. I would not go as far as to say like this pad is like very comparable to artisan level quality, but I would say it's like pretty damn close, you know. The only problem is the availability with it. It's sold out almost like everywhere, which is pretty crazy, you know. I didn't realize that it was like, you know, such a popular item that it would be sold out. But you can always go to Lethal Gaming Gear's website and just type in your email, and they'll email you when the pad comes back in stock. But at $30, like this mouse pad is nuts. You're getting a lot for your money, and that's why I would say, even if you want to get like a Steel Series QCK or like a, you know, or a Zowie GSR, I would rather spend another $15 or another 10 and wait and get the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn if you're planning to upgrade. But if you need one right now and it's not in your budget, completely understandable. But I just know if it was me, I would wait and get the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn, because for $30 you are getting an insane deal. You're getting next level stitching, good rubber quality, and good mousepad quality. Like the mousepad feels amazing. And then you don't have to spend $60 for like a Artisan Zero. But the Zero is still a great mousepad, don't get me wrong, but I know there was some issues with it, like catching hair and stuff. Like mine doesn't really catch anything other than like dust and stuff, but I mean, you can easily wipe it off and it's gone. So that's basically about it for the Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn. Let me know what you guys think about it. They do Lethal Gaming Gear also does have other pads that you can get. So they have like the Venus, which is more along the lines of like the Hayate Otsu, which is like more of a clone along those lines. I would say the Saturn really isn't like a Zero clone, but it's like it kind of has its own unique feel in terms of control. And then they also have the Mercury, which is also supposed to be super fast. And then they have the Jupiter, which is like supposed to be super muddy, super slow. And I think the two best pads probably are going to be the Venus and the Saturn for most people. And then if you're just like nuts and you want to go crazy, then you can definitely go ahead and get the Mercury or the Jupiter, you know, depending on what you want, you know. But like for most people, I would recommend either the Saturn or the Venus, probably. The Saturn being on the slower side and the Venus being a little bit on the faster side. And also they're both $30, and you can also get it in a desk pad formation. So if you want a bigger mouse pad, you can, or like to cover more air, like space on your desk, you can definitely get a bigger version too. And it's just